Let's take a look at removing the PCV valve after the vehicle has endured for over 200,000 miles. First thing you're going to want to do is place some penetrating oil on the threads of the fasteners. Removing this EGR sensor will require detaching of two 10mm bolts. Most likely one of those bolts will break like you see here. So we advise you let that penetrating oil soak at that location for a few hours. Doing the same thing with the rubber hose connection, placing the lubricating oil and using a needle nose pliers, trying not to destroy the vacuum hose or place a hole in it, which could cause a leak to affect engine performance. Once the hose are disconnected, then the sensor can be moved, tilted backwards. On the bottom of the sensor there is another hose that is very important. It's a high temperature hose. It's not your normal hose. So you're going to want to take care in removing that hose. Here it is. Again, use some penetrating oil. It always helps. And needle nose pliers for twisting the rubber on the spout. Once you could twist the rubber on the spout, then you could pull the part away from the rubber hose. So don't try to pull the part away without the hose not twisting. So you could clean inside that sensor with some purple blaster. It's advisable that you do. It's simply a diaphragm that's going to be cleaning. Now let's remove these torsion clamp from the PVC valve rubber hose. This hose is going to be very difficult for you to remove because with the age it's going to get hardened, and if you twist it in the wrong way, it's going to break. So we did not disconnect the hose from the end of the PCV valve spout. Instead, we want to unscrew this PCV valve from inside the manifold, detaching it with the rubber hose. In the process of doing so, you're going to need a 19mm combination wrench using the open end. You can see there's not much room there for turning this wrench. You take a closer look, you see right there, it braces against the aluminum casting for that next coolant spout. That coolant spout is for bleeding the cooling system with that 10mm bolt on top. So using the edge of the combination wrench, open end, you will be able to turn the PCV valve inside of the rubber hose. Do not try to pull the hose away from the valve or the hose will become damaged. Then it's going to become difficult for finding that part, and this is going to prevent the vehicle from operating unless you substitute a custom hose to facilitate its purpose. So let's take a look at removing this hose and try not to break the aluminum casting. The end of disconnecting that PCV valve, you want to make sure you don't damage the threads on the aluminum. Now we just want to grab this hose, twist it to the rear, back and forth, pulling it a little. And what this is going to do, it's going to give you some flexibility to detach it from the spout at the bottom of the intake plenum. Here is the original PCV valve. That's what you want to hear. when you're installing a new one. Or what you could do is you could clean the inside like we're trying to do here. So we're going to remove this rubber hose with this PCV valve attached to it. The reason we didn't pull the hose is because it's so stiff it's going to break. Most likely will crack up here. So we took this wrench. You have to meticulously place it in position and turn. That's why we release this torsion clamp from the hose so it could be easy to turn. Now when you're going to be installing it back, most likely you're not going to be removing it from here because it's going to damage the rubber hose. So you're most likely going to want to clean the PCV valve with the hose if you're lucky enough to detach it from the spout without breaking it. So you have to be easy with this. It is possible. If it's cold, you could get a hot gun, an air gun, and heat up this area so it can get more flexible to be slide off of this spout. Now you want to look in there, and you're going to see most likely it's going to have a lot of carbon buildup. So you just want to clean this hole inside, just like it is here, in one piece. So let's see if this is good. So this is a good PCV valve. So this is how you're going to remove it. In the event this hose should become very hard, and that will happen at approximately 200,000 miles. Now this here, take some purple blast and you just fill it in this passageway and let it sit for 24 hours. When you come back and you shake it, it's going to sound like this. But this one, this is a better one. So it needs a little cleaning. Let's take a quick look at the installation process. First thing you want to do is place some penetrating oil on that spout in the thread where the PCV valve will be fitted. The first thing you want to do is you want to play around here a little, trying to see if you could get that thread to start. You'll be able to know it. So that's we have it started right there. Always make sure threads installed properly. So now that you have the hose partially in position, you see you're going to have a little movement with it to get the spout back into location. And you just have to, like I said, be careful, be gentle. And eventually that hose is just going to snap right into the position where it was. Then you can finish tightening the bolts and finishing tightening the PCV valve. So like I said before, you're going to have a conflict with this wrench and the firewall where it meets the weather stripping and also the hood or the bonnet. You're going to have to open that all the way. So that's replacing the valve. This brings us to the end of the video. Thank you.